Oh, what a fucking shitbird that guy is. Look at him. What a knob jock. Anyway, let's go. In terms of technically impressive films, they don't come more technical or impressive than The Incredibles. I mean, it's got the word incredible right there in the title. However, few fans of the film realise just how technically impressive some aspects of that film were. For example, did you know they didn't even know if they'd be able to bring the character of Violet to life on the big screen until about halfway through production?
So what was it about Violet that made her difficult to animate?
Well, to put it simply, because she had long flowing hair. That's literally it. Because she had long hair, they looked at her and went, oh, fuck animating this character. God damn it, this is the worst.
Yeah, hair is notoriously hard to animate.
It is, yeah. For people who don't know, there are two things generally that are considered almost impossible to animate realistically. Long hair and clothing and fabric. Like, those are the two things that people hate animating when it comes to film.
Simulation of long hair is just one of those, you know, it's one of those problems that people start to freak about when you talk about it.
My personal favourite examples are like Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII with his big block of polygons that's supposed to represent, like, you know, long flowing hair that's down to his arse. What's your favourite example of a show or like any animated media where they've gone, man, we just could not do the hair in this, could we?
Yeah, one of my favourites is the first Uncharted game, when they marvelled about how the water interacted with his clothes, and his hair stuck on like fucking concrete.
A favourite example of a video I have has got to be Bayonetta.
Yeah.
Because in Bayonetta, the whole point of her character is that she doesn't wear clothes. Her clothes is like her hair magically stuck to her body. And in the second game, they put in a character like Jean from the first game, and she goes from having like a short bob to arse-length hair. And you can see in the cutscenes they couldn't figure out how to make it work because her hair goes fucking mental in every scene she's in. And she does like a flying kick and it's like, goes all over the joint. It's like, man, this is like death battle level of quality on display here in the animation. It's like, come on, if you can't do it, don't give the character that haircut. It looks fucking awful.
The thing I find quite funny about it is, even though these things are like spectacular when someone pulls them off, no one cares.
Yeah, they're so mundane that you don't notice, like, oh wow, that hair is like moving and swishing around that person's shoulders realistically. No one gives a shit because we see that stuff every day. And that's like, ironically, one of the most difficult things to do. Like making an explosion or making a city just detonate or disappear into a black hole, that's a piece of piss. Animating someone with shoulder length hair, that's a ball ache. And that brings it back to Pixar, and one of my favourite examples of this is Monsters, Inc. Because obviously people are thinking now, Monsters, Inc., obviously the most difficult thing to animate in that must have been Sully. Because obviously he's covered head to toe in fur, and while Sully was like difficult to animate and get his fur just right, and get it to react to the movements he made, the actual most difficult thing in that entire film to animate was Boo's t-shirt. People are probably thinking, what do you mean Boo's t-shirt? Because she's wearing a long, baggy t-shirt that has to react to every single movement she makes. And I remember at the time watching like a documentary on the making of it, and they sat there going, yeah, we couldn't figure out how to make this fucking t-shirt look realistic. Why do you think in like Toy Story and stuff, all the characters are made of plastic?
Oh, what? These are plastic.
Due to the sheer amount of work usually involved with giving a character long hair, because it generally involves animating 400,000 individual strands of hair on the character's head, most studios will simply say fuck it. However, as we probably all know, Pixar isn't most studios. What's your favourite example of a studio clearly saying fuck it, we're not giving this character long hair? Because mine has to be Star Wars The Clone Wars TV show. Because what like haircut does like Obi-Wan Kenobi played by Ewan McGregor have in the actual Clone Wars movie?
You mean the lovely flowing locks?
Yeah, he's lovely like flowing man mullet. And then in the animated version Clone Wars, he's just got his tightly cropped plastic Lego man haircut that never fucking moves. And you can tell they were looking there going, oh god damn it, we've already got to make them all wear Jedi robes. Fuck this. No, he's having a Lego man haircut. He's going to look like Paul McCartney's rock band model and he's going to deal with it.
Oh, brilliant.
To bring it back to video games, that's why every character from like the Xbox 360 era had like, you know, the shaved head and just like the slight bit of stubble. Because fuck animating anything else. Everyone can just be Gunman.
So if hair is so hard to animate, why didn't they just say fuck it and not do it on Violet?
Because her hair was seen as being such an integral part of her character. She's supposed to symbolically hide behind it. They said, nah, you're not giving her a ponytail. You're not like cheaping out on this one. Make it work. And the best part is the animation department genuinely didn't know if they could, but they operated on the assumption that eventually they'd figure out a way to do it. So I believe for like the first couple of months they were trying to animate the character, her hair is just all over the fucking joint. She looks like she's in space for some of like the early animation tests. Her hair's out here. So have you ever seen some of those like animation tests for like early animated movies?
I think I have, yeah.
My favourite has got to be the Shrek one, where they accidentally set the fur on Donkey as being slightly too long. So Donkey just looks like a giant brush. And I think the ones for like, the early ones for Incredibles, it just shows Violet's hair just freaking out like she's Samara from The Ring or some shit.
And her face stays in the exact same place.
But her hair's like just dancing all over the joint, just breaking it down. It's like, can you even step to these sick hair moves? It's like, oh my god.
It's not my fault!
This decree from higher ups at Disney and Pixar led to a rather surreal situation for the animators, in which they had to operate under the assumption that they would eventually figure out a way to animate Violet's hair for a large part of production, even though they weren't sure if the technology even existed.
Long hair is theoretical at this point. Whoa! Time out. Theoretical? You know, the movie comes out in less than a year.
So how did they manage to figure it out in the end?
What they did is they gave Violet 5 different hairstyles, which was supposed to be put onto a model for different situations and would react differently depending on what scenario and environment she was in.
Hey, you're wearing your hair back.
Huh? Oh, yeah. I just, yeah.
It looks good.
Thanks, Dad.
So they did eventually figure it out, but I like the idea that for months and months and months and months, they were just sat there with their head in their hands going, I don't even know if this is fucking possible, and I've still got to work on it, and just someone like a slave driver, Disney's like, whoosh, whoosh. Like, you work anyway, we'll invent the technology if we have to, this film is going to look amazing, we're going to make people wait 15 fucking years for a sequel.
I'd love if the earlier copies just had her bald. And she was there just moving nothing out of her face.
I think some of the early animation tests she is. Because obviously they said like these are the tests for like the motion. It's like the hair just looks so stupid, take it off.
We tried a lot of things that really didn't work and just looked silly. And when we finally figured out what the problem was, it was fine.
I distinctly recall watching a making of documentary on it. And there's a bit where you just see the animators and they're all like just like dead-eyed because they've been working constantly. And they talk about Monsters Inc. and the t-shirt, like that Boo wears. So at the time, we didn't even know if that was possible to realistically, like, you know, animate a t-shirt. And in this film, we had every single character wearing a suit with long hair, and we started crying when we realised that was like what we had to do. And it shows you like them going through. It's like the actual decision to make them wear skin-tight, like, you know, superhero outfits was probably one of the best decisions we ever made. But even they had to respond realistically to the proportions of the person wearing it. Which doesn't really help when you've got one character who can stretch her body to any sort of limitations whatsoever.
Probably a good thing that they weren't all wearing capes, wasn't it?
Do you think that was one of the reasons they didn't make them wear capes? Because animating a cape would have been an absolute ball ache. And now, fuck it, don't wear capes, but we expect capes. No, just put a scene in where Edna Mode tells them that capes are stupid.
Well, doesn't Brad Bird, the director, do the voice of Edna?
Yeah.
So do you reckon he's literally saying it out loud?
He was just saying it in a production meeting one day. I love that as well, like Brad Bird, he's the voice of Edna Mode, but the look of Mr. Incredible. If you bring up a picture of Brad Bird and Mr. Incredible, you can see that they modelled the look of Mr. Incredible on Brad Bird. But when, I think during like line readings or something, he was saying, okay, this is the idea I've got for the voice of Edna Mode. And he'd do that and everyone said, well, your voice is better than anyone we can get in, so do you want to do it? And he went, okay, yeah, sure.
You're the best of the best,
Yes,
E.
I know, darling. I know.
And Edna Mode's my favourite character in that entire fucking film, man. I love Edna Mode.
But now you have to remember Mr. Incredible doing the voice of Edna Mode.
Yeah, it's Mr. Incredible doing the voice of Edna Mode. Oh, but goddamn do I love that character. The best line is just got to be Edna Mode, and the gun flies out. And guess.
Edna Mode. And guess.
Thinking about it as well, they put a lot of effort into Violet considering she isn't the main character either.
Yeah. That's one of my favourite things about it. Like, she's not even like the main character. She's like one of the titular Incredibles, of course, but she's not like supposed to be like front and centre throughout the entire movie. She's not even in it for like very long, but they still felt her characterisation is so important that we have to, go out, just basically develop new technology just to realise her hairstyle because we feel it's so integral to her characterisation as a whole. And you know what? That's fucking brilliant. I love that.
What's your favourite example of awful or weird looking animation in film or video games?
It has to be, like, my number one with a bullet is from the very first Halo game where Master Chief takes his helmet off and the camera pans so you don't get to see his face, but you hear like the like the helmet, like the air seal being undone, and you see the helmet get put on his knee. If you no-clip that and watch, all you see is Master Chief put his hands on his head and then another helmet model comes off. He's wearing another helmet under the helmet and he puts it down on his knee. Because they never built a character model without the helmet. Yeah. So he just goes and it's like, it makes it look like he wears another helmet under his helmet. It's like, oh, what a lovely day fighting the Covenant. Better take my first helmet off to relax. That's how I kick it.
Or his head's just a helmet underneath. That's why it's that shape.
What's one of yours?
Have you ever played the PS1 game Terra Incognita?
I have not played the PS1 game Terra Incognito. Why?
I will put a lovely clip in for you. I always remember this game because the animation of the main character, his elbows and knees don't move. So he walks around like a robot.
Oh, I love shit like that. It's like the run animation from God Hand. Have you ever seen that? No. In God Hand, they basically put all the animation budget into the fighting, so he runs at like turbo speed like this. He looks fucking great. Oh man, I love all crap like that.
One I want to bring up is from that Sherlock Holmes game where Watson stalks you.
Oh yeah, because Watson, people don't know, I don't know what the game's called, it was a Sherlock Holmes game where Watson constantly is by your side, but they never programmed in a walk animation for Watson. So what they do is whenever you don't look at him, he'll teleport to your side. So people figured out you can get like 400 foot away from him as long as you maintain eye contact, like some sort of demon.
It's like SCP, isn't it?
It's something like that shit. And all you do is you pop around the corner and you come back out for a second, he's just there. Oh, that's such a clever workaround. That no, he never walks. He just teleports to your side constantly.
It's like you can look forwards and then turn around and he's behind you as well.
Yeah, constantly, isn't it? It's like what's it now? PT, the demo for that Silent Hill game that never came out. I believe like the evil entity that's supposed to follow you around is constantly programmed to be like 5 foot behind you, or some shit like that. So you can sometimes like stare into a mirror and see her character model just freak the fuck out because she doesn't know what she's supposed to be doing. Oh man, I love shit like that in video games. It's the best.